Donnie and Dolly. The team is supported by ableauctions.ca. Closing your business? We can help.
It is Thursday. Is it Thursday already? Oh my gosh, time flies. All of today's guests, including Farhan standing by in Vegas, brought to you by the Vancouver Giants. Giants are at the LAC for a pair of home games this weekend. Tomorrow they take on Prince George. Saturday they take on Everett. Puck drop is at 7 p.m. for both games. Visit VancouverGiants.com/tickets for ticket details. Chiefs 49ers Sunday, Super Bowl 58, Las Vegas, Nevada. As we bring in, he's in Las Vegas from TSN, Farhan Lalji. Farhan, thanks for doing this, sir. How are you?
I'm good. Sorry I couldn't get it out on the strip for you guys. I'm just this is what a Vegas hotel room looks like, in case you were wondering.
Well, Farhan, my first question I was going to ask you, I've got it written down here. Give us your report on the vibe in Vegas right now. Judging by the background of where this interview is coming from, it's hopping there, Farhan. Have I got that right?
It is hopping. Yeah, there's been like nobody coming in and out of this room. I can assure you of that. No, it's what. Truthfully, though, it's been a good week, right? It's different here because you guys know that when Super Bowl happens, the second biggest party every year on Super Bowl weekend happens in Vegas. Everybody makes their way over here if you're not at the actual game venue, right? So it's been good. There's been a lot of additional people here. Vegas certainly has a different feel. Like if you're here during F1 or you're here during a big football game, you know that there's a different vibe down here. But Super Bowl takes that to a different level, and I think the majority of out of towners are going to start coming in tonight and tomorrow. And I can only imagine what it's going to look like over the next few days because everything is set up. You've got all the additional, accoutrements up and down the strip with signage and, flamingo girls, you name it. They're all out there. Sorry I couldn't bring them to you. Next time I'll do this episode with one next to me, maybe.
Yeah. Not in the hotel room, Farhan. That wouldn't be a good idea. Hey,
no, not at all.
So much focus on Patrick Mahomes going into this game, and rightfully so. But what do you like about Brock Purdy?
Well, the thing I like about him is he's just calm. Like this is not too big for him. You can tell he's not just saying that. It really isn't too big for him, and it's been like that all season. Every big game, every big moment. Like even if he's struggled in the first half in the NFC Championship game, in the second half when when everything needed to happen, he was there playing at a high level for his teammates. So you talk to all of those guys, and they just say that when he took over as the starter last year, I think this is just what he's used to. He got to start 4 seasons at Iowa State when nobody gave him a real shot going into that. And he's just carried that over here. So it's just he's got all these playmakers, and none of it's become too big.
I'm having a tough time not picking Mahomes, Farhan, just everything. I mean, 4 of the 5 last Super Bowls, he's got him there. Look at his stats in the playoffs this year. He didn't have a great regular season. We all know that. But is it hard to bet against this guy Sunday?
I wouldn't bet against him. He just feels inevitable. The one thing with the Niners is they haven't played their best football for 60 minutes in the first 2 playoff games. They're going to need to if they want to win this week. The Kansas City Chiefs are playing the best football they've played. It's been an up and down year. And you know what impresses me the most about Patrick Mahomes is he's morphed his game, and he's done it mid-season. Now think about this, guys. You've played one way throughout your high school career, throughout your college career, and throughout the first 5.5 years of your NFL career. And now you realize that you just don't have a ton going on at receiver outside of Kelsey and Rashee Rice, and you got a really good defense. So there's no need to take additional risk to make plays because you can punt and lean on them and make plays later. And for you to do that midstream, to adjust your instincts when you played that type of football, I think is amazing. And the way he's playing right now, like I said, he's not turning it over. People talk about Brock Purdy being a game manager, which he's not. If you truly look at what that definition entails and how the last 6 weeks have gone, Mahomes has been more of a game manager, and he's good with it, right? And when there's a play to be made, he makes it. But yeah, I'm so impressed with how he's changed his game. And Rick, you're right. I wouldn't bet against him.
All right, let's go to the CFL. Mathieu Betts, free agent, BC Lions, 18 sacks last year. What's going on there? Where's he going to end up?
Yeah, I think we're going to know today, maybe tomorrow at the latest. I don't think it's going to take too long. And I think it's been between BC and Hamilton. I think Montreal's made an offer. I'm not sure how deeply they're in the mix on this one. Yesterday, my understanding is that Hamilton added a little bit to their offer. So as he takes away to think and make his decision. He's got that going for him. Hamilton will offer more money than BC. They will. But at the same time, for any player in this league, as we found out with Brady Oliveira, there's got to be a gap there. It's going to take a certain amount of extra dollars to get a player to leave his city, whether it's $25,000 or $30,000 more per year. It's going to take more. So we'll see if that gap is big enough to make Mathieu Betts jump at it. If I were betting, and again, this is not insider reporting, this is just me reading the tea leaves, my gut feel is it's probably 60-40 that he comes back. But I can't tell you that with any greater level of certainty than that.
But would the Grey Cup in Vancouver help the Lions?
Well, I don't know that it affects things for Mathieu Betts, but I think from a Lions perspective, maybe it motivates them to do a little more here, right? Because you are seeing teams now, the CBA allows teams to add marketing money to players' contracts that doesn't count towards the salary cap, but it's guaranteed money for the players. It's in their contracts, and some are doing more, some are doing less, right? Like Chad Kelly's contract has over $100,000 in marketing money in it. So, how far does Amar Doman and the BC Lions want to go? I think there really is a concern on Rick Campbell's part that stuff like that can upset the apple cart in a room, that if a player gets it and maybe doesn't deliver to expectations, that all of a sudden, it's not a good thing. So I don't know how they're going to manage that, but ultimately, I think the Grey Cup might affect BC's motivation to get this done. I don't know that it necessarily affects Betts' motivation.
And, of course, the Lions signing William Stanback from Montreal, helping that run game, which needed some help last year. But, Farhan, before we end this interview, I want to get your thoughts on this, your reaction. SFU is getting rid of its sports information department. You used to be the SID director up there. What's your reaction?
Disappointment. I can't say I'm surprised because this is seemingly what this university does, and the way they do it is bizarre, right? I mean, the coaches that I spoke to didn't know this was coming. So again, right, like the communication, which now this is going to make even worse when you don't have a communications department in athletics. This is an important part of a university's athletic department because it allows you to help promote those athletes and make them a bigger deal. And when I had a sports information office in the building and athletes would come by, you just intrinsically get to know them better. Now you're going to have the university's communications department take this part of it over. They're not going to know these kids. They're not going to know these coaches. And they're not going to do as good a job as the people that are in that building. So it's disappointing. You worry about what the actual agenda was. And when a new athletic director comes in, whether or not they're going to really find a way to build this athletic department in a better way, which is what the president of the university claims. But just real disappointment in the school. Obviously this goes back to April for when they made the decision around football. And, are they going to cut other sports? Are there other things they're going to do to whether it's budgetary or whether it's different agendas at play? I don't know, but very disappointing. And unfortunately, they've kind of handled this the way they generally handle these things.
Can't thank you enough for giving us a feel of the vibe.
Would you like to see my room? Like I've made the
sure.
bed kind of, just in case but there are messy clothes kind of on the couch. Here, I'll show you. Look at my closet.
Careful. We don't want to see something.
Wow.
Look at how organized that is. Hey, that's pretty good, right?
Yeah.
Careful.
There's a painting kind of. That's a thing.
Nice.
That's a bad painting.
Well, what about your view? Do you have a nice view at least?
Are you on the strip?
I'm not. I don't. Well, we're just off the strip. I don't have a strip.
Wow, that's just.
Wow, that's pretty.
There's the airport's right there.
Yeah, that's anywhere USA.
Yeah, I'm leaving, and I'll be walking across the strip soon. You guys want to do this interview now? So this is kind of what we get.
All right. Farhan, despite all of that, we thank you for this interview. Have a great time there.
See you, boys.